Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of 30 Albums for 30 Years, 1964 through 1994, where we take a look at the most impactful album between those years, and then we do it chronologically. I am your host, Jay Sweet. How are you today? We're doing well over here. Today, we're going to check out the album, The Supremes, Where Did Our Love Go? Motown Records, released August of 1964 and recorded December 28th, 1962 through August 13th of 1964. Let's get into it. All right, let's learn a little bit about the Supremes. Well, the Supremes were supremely popular as an all-female act from Detroit and eventually as an essential part of the Motown label roster. Before they were the Supremes, the group began as the Primettes, with Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson, Diana Ross, and Betty McGlown. The group formed in 1959, while the members lived in the same Detroit housing projects. Diana Ross, who knew Smokey Robinson of the Miracles from the old neighborhood, encouraged Robinson to help secure an audition with Motown Records founder Barry Gordy. Gordy found the girls too young and inexperienced and initially passed on the Primettes. Undeterred by this rejection, the Primettes released their first single, Tears of Sorrow, on Lou Pine Records. The song didn't have an impact, and McGlown left the group to get married. Replacing her was Barbara Martin. With Motown still in their sights, the girls began hanging around the Hitsville recording studios to get Gordy's attention. He eventually let them sing backup and clap their hands on a few records for other Motown artists, and in 1961, Gordy finally signed the group to his Tamla label and renamed them The Supremes. So between 1961 and 1963, the Supremes released several singles of material written by either Gordy or Smokey Robinson, but none of the tracks charted. Then Martin left the group during this time, 1962, and the Supremes continued as a trio. In 1963, Barry Gordy decided to call in the writing team of Holland, Dozier, and Holland to help the group secure a hit. Holland, Dozier, and Holland had already successfully made hits for other Motown artists, specifically female Motown artists like Martha and the Vandellas and Mary Wells. The songwriting team offered When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes, and the Supremes finally had their first top 40 hit. Now that they had the right formula and the right writing team, they began to perfect an image that portrayed glamour and style. The group began their supremacy with their number one hit, Where Did Our Love Go?, and the album with the same name. All right, cats, so let's learn about the album, Where Did Our Love Go? It's a compilation record of Supreme's earlier singles, and the album reached number 2 on the Billboard Charts. It was the first record in history to have 3 number 1 hits. It was also, at the time, the highest charting album by an all-female group. The record would introduce the world to the characteristics of the Motown Sound, which offered advanced arrangements and production values to pop music. It was a monumental achievement that launched the Supremes into superstardom by showcasing an all-female African-American group that broke through the color barriers to earn the support by audiences of both African Americans and white audiences. So after the release of Where Did Our Love Go?, things exploded for the Supremes, and they became certified hit makers. Still, with all groups, tensions arose, particularly when Ross began to gain more attention than Ballard and Wilson. In 1967, Gordy renamed the group Diana Ross and the Supremes. This solidified Ross's status as the main draw and the leader of the unit. Ballard did not handle Ross's fame well, and she began drinking heavily, gaining weight, and missing appearances. She was let go and was meant to be replaced by Cindy Birdsong. After an appearance with the Supremes, Gordy received an injunction from Birdsong's former group, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, stopping her from further appearances because of her current contract. So Ballard was asked back while Gordy worked on buying Birdsong's contract. Ballard slimmed down for the appearance, thinking that she was to retain her position with the Supremes. But things got ugly when she found out that she was only being brought back as a placeholder while Birdsong's contract could be cleared. Angered by the situation, Ballard appeared on stage drunk at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas and was fired once again. After a failed attempt at a solo career, she tried to sue Berry Gordy and Diana Ross, but lost. Ballard returned to her toxic lifestyle, and sadly, she died of a heart attack at 32 years old. The Supremes continued making hits, but they were beginning to lose popularity by the decade's end. And in 1970, Diana Ross launched a successful solo career. The Supremes continued without her. Her replacement was Jean Terrell. The group continued to perform and record until 1977, with only Wilson remaining throughout. All right, time to drop the needle on side number one. Track number one is Where Did Our Love Go?, the title track. Where Did Our Love Go was the Supremes' first number one hit, and it started the streak of 5 number one hits in a row. The writing team, Holland, Dozier, and Holland, who wrote most of the Supremes classics, wrote this one specifically with the Supremes in mind. The group didn't like it when they first heard it, and they thought it was too kiddie-ish. And there were also several discussions as to who would sing lead on the track. Was it to be Mary Wilson or Diana Ross? Well, Diana Ross got the nod. The song is fueled by a steady and often overused clap rhythm with strong support by the fantastic rhythm section, the Funk Brothers, who played on all the Motown recordings at this time. Like most Supreme songs, the lyrics are about relationships. In this case, it's about a broken one. Musically, I want you to check out the sax solo, played by Mike Terry. This one's a classic, Where Did Our Love Go? Track number 2 is Run, 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 which was the follow-up single to their first hit, When the Love Light Starts Shining Through. Run, Run, Run didn't connect and only reached number 93 on the charts. There's some pretty fast rhythmic piano played on this one, a thick baritone saxophone line, and a solid saxophone solo. Check it out. The third track is Baby Love, which is one of the group's most recognizable songs and their second number one hit, making them the first Motown group to have 2 number one hits. The song was nominated for a Grammy in 1965. The lyrical theme is basically the same as Where Did Our Love Go? Troubles with a relationship. The song offers, you guessed it, more hand claps and fantastic arrangements that adds heavier instrumentations and an obvious key change. Another classic, Baby Love. Track number 4, When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes, which was the group's first top 40 single released in 1963. And guess what? It includes a hand-clapping rhythm. This was the first time Holland, Dozier, and Holland wrote a tune for the Supremes, which proved to be exactly what they needed to create hits. The song is played briskly and includes an early example of Motown's heavy layering arrangements. Love Light gave Motown the footprint they needed to help make the group one of the most successful hit makers of the decade. The fifth track is Come See About Me, which was another number one hit and one of the Supremes' finest tunes. The song offers one of the earliest examples of a studio fade-in. Before the Supremes released the single, Nella Dodds released it, and her version reached number 74 on the charts. It's a great tune with a superb rhythmic feel, which includes signature hand claps. The song is about a smitten girl who is crying and lonely because she wants her boy to see about her. The recording is one of the Supremes' finest. Come See About Me. The final track of side number one is Long Gone Lover, which was not a hit single, but an excellent album track written by Smokey Robinson. The song features a fantastic groove, a solid saxophone solo, and of course, great vocals. Lyrically, the song is about a long-gone lover with whom the narrator still loves and believes is true and faithful, even though people speculate that he might not be that truthful. The narrator's long-gone lover does write her letters, and he lets her know that he'll be coming home soon. So I guess we'll sing about it. Long Gone Lover. All right, did you flip the record? Oh, wait. Did you drop the needle? You did. All right. So now, track number one of side number two is I'm Giving You Your Freedom, which is a breakup song. It was not a hit. For some reason, it just didn't connect, but it is a solid album track with some added percussion. Listen for a wood block, which offers a cha-cha type of a rhythm. It's almost like a secondary rhythm against the main groove. And there's some pretty tasty guitar licks on this track as well. So get into it. I'm Giving You Your Freedom. Track number two of side number two is A Breathtaking Guy, which was written by Smokey Robinson and is one of the few tracks in which the Supremes share the lead vocals. It was another song for the early no-hit Supremes. That's what they were called for a while, peaking at only number 75, which was better than their previous efforts, but still not breathtaking. There's some pretty jazzy guitar licks on this one. A Breathtaking Guy. The third track of side two is He Means the World to Me, which has a bit of a calypso type feel. Now you could tell some of these songs were written by men, as it's another song about a girl pining away for a guy. This one has some clever orchestral characteristics, including what sounds like a xylophone, congas, and some well-written horn lines. He Means the World to Me. This next track is Standing at the Crossroads of Love. And the song starts with the chorus, sung in a high register, before it settles into a more comfortable groove. It's a decent tune, never was a hit, probably needed hand claps. Check it out. Standing at the Crossroads of Love. This next track is Your Kiss of Fire, which was written by Berry Gordy's brother Robert and Harvey Fuqua. Now, not much to be said about this one. Really no need for a fireman. This song is really not that hot. The final track of the original LP is Ask Any Girl, which begins with a slow rubato and a violin. At about 30 seconds, it picks up. Ask Any Girl is another song about a lonely, love-struck, crying girl. Although they broke new ground as a popular female group, The Supremes were often portrayed as vulnerable in song. It's another reminder that men wrote their material. There is some pretty remarkable string writing on this one, and Ask Any Girl is a great album closer. All right, we did it. We made it to the end of the record, and we are better for it. So you know what to do. Lift the needle off of the record, put it back on the shelf. You're going to want to hear it again. And in conclusion, much love was given to the Supremes after the release of Where Did Our Love Go? The love was right there. And in a male-dominated field, the Supremes broke down barriers with this release and future releases. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. You know I enjoy doing it. If you like what you've heard, you want to learn more, go to 30albumsfor30years.com. Also check us out social media, Facebook, Instagram, you know the deal. And I also have a book, A History of American Music, 1750 through 1950, an origin story. You can get that through Kendall Hunt Publishing. I have some bonus material for this episode, so stick around. And remember, together, let's keep the music alive. Thank you for hanging out for the bonus section. In these bonus sections, I do a home recording of one of the songs from the record. And for this one, I did Baby Love. Kind of a fun one to do. Played all the instruments, added a drum track. And I hope you enjoy it. Baby Love.